Understanding Customs, Regulations and Procedures. Customs Clearance Procedure Course. Introduction. There has been a fundamental change since 1993, when the countries of Europe abolished customs barriers between member states of the European Community. There is no longer any customs declaration within Europe, and the territory of the member states has been replaced by that of the Community, which does not mean that national rules no longer have any role to play, but the framework is that of Community law. We must not confuse customs law, which is a legal and regulatory framework through which the action of customs authorities is exercised, and customs duties is a tax levied on imported goods when they cross the border. These duties may be flat rate or represent a percentage of the ad valorem price. The study of the customs clearance procedure requires some general definitions on the missions of the customs administration on the one hand and the basic instruments of customs legislation on the other. The customs administration is a public service, existing in all countries, whose main objective is to protect and promote the development of the national economy. Admittedly, there has been a lot of talk recently about customs that has gone digital, and the dematerialization of procedures is only one way of approaching the customs field, which requires primarily the knowledge of its core regulatory and procedural methods. The study of customs can only be done by delving into the body of documentation governing the legal and regulatory framework for customs action. It is important to note that the following course is very similar to the one taught during 1 year at the Customs Personnel Training Centers. That being said, let's get started. 1. The missions of the Customs Administration. The missions of the Customs Administration are numerous and diversified. They are of a fiscal, economic and control nature. Taxation. Customs has a traditional character, which consists in the collection of duties and taxes applicable to goods that cross the border, generally at the entry into the national customs territory. In addition, states encourage the export of goods through exemptions from duties and taxes. This mission is part of the application of the tariff law and customs legislation, and provides the Treasury with significant tax resources. In addition to the collection of customs duties, e.g. customs duties, the Customs Administration is also responsible for collecting a number of duties and taxes in the field of taxation and parafiscal charges. The economic mission, which consists in the observation and control of goods crossing the national customs territory, whether on entry or exit. This role allows him to observe without obstructing the movement of goods. It shall also apply measures to ensure the protection of national production. The control mission consists for the customs to ensure compliance with the various regulations to which goods crossing borders are subject, and also those involving tariff rules or protective or prohibition measures. The Customs Administration also provides foreign trade statistics to enable the government to correct or take appropriate economic measures. Statistics are collected from the declarations produced during customs clearance operations. In addition, the Customs Administration, through its functional and territorial organization, works to promote foreign trade. The establishment of customs services throughout the national territory and the facilitation of customs procedures are factors in bringing the economic operator closer together. According to the Customs Code, the Customs Administration's tasks include the following: to implement legal and regulatory measures, to ensure the uniform application of customs laws and regulations, to collect duties, taxes and duties due on the import and export of goods, and to work to combat tax evasion and avoidance, to combat infringements of intellectual property rights and the illicit import and export of cultural property, to contribute to the protection of the national economy, and to ensure a healthy competitive environment, protected from any illegal practices, to ensure the compilation, analysis and dissemination of foreign trade statistics, to ensure, in accordance with the legislation and regulations in force, the protection of fauna and flora and the preservation of the environment. To combat, in collaboration with the services concerned, smuggling, money laundering and cross-border crime, the illicit import and export of goods that undermine security and public order. To ensure that imported or exported goods have undergone compliance control formalities in accordance with the laws and regulations governing them. Other tasks are also entrusted to the Customs Administration, namely the application of specific regulations in view of its presence at the borders. Examples include regulations on hygiene, public health and morals, plant, animal and food health, pharmaceuticals, etc. Also, we can mention the legislation and regulations relating to the export of works of art, the protection of industrial property, the repression of counterfeiting, false trademarks, quality and conformity control of imported or exported products, measuring instruments, etc. The list of the missions of the Customs Administration is far from exhaustive in view of its very broad scope of action and the original and evolving nature of its activities. To carry out its missions, the Customs Administration has legal means and mechanisms adapted to the country's economic strategy encouraging productive investment, promoting exports. It should be recalled that the laws and regulations that the Customs Administration is responsible for applying are diverse in the same way as its missions. In addition, all the Customs Codes provides that customs laws and regulations shall apply to all goods that are imported or to be exported and to goods that are placed under an authorized customs procedure with economic impact. 2. The basic instruments of customs legislation. The basic instruments of customs legislation are the Customs Code and the Customs Tariff. A. The Customs Code. The Customs Code constitutes the legal framework within which the Customs Administration's action must be carried out and all the procedures and formalities to which foreign trade operators must submit. The Customs Code defines a number of concepts for the application of its provisions, and implementing texts such as imports and exports of goods, the obligations of cross-border travelers, their objects and personal effects, goods in transit, control and verification procedures, the calculation and collection of duties and taxes, protection and anti-dumping measures, the status of freight forwarders and customs declarants, the fight against smuggling, counterfeiting and tax fraud, the control of means of transport, the enforcement of customs laws and regulations, the control of documents and the completion of customs formalities. B. The Customs Tariff. The Customs Tariff defines the list of products under the harmonized system nomenclature, and determines the duties and taxes collected by the Customs Administration on behalf of the Treasury. The current regularly updated nomenclature has unified product families with codified tariff headings even for unnamed products. The nomenclature is named after the Harmonized Commodity Description and Coding System Convention. The customs tariff applies to the entry and exit of goods from the customs territory except for those covered by exemptions. Goods under import regime are subject to the highest pressure of customs duties and taxes. On the export side, states generally provide in their customs tariffs for tax exemptions to make their products competitive in foreign markets that are sources of significant foreign exchange. Throughout this course we will focus, in increasing order, on the following chapters. Customs legislations and regulations arranged in 4 chapters. Customs economic regimes arranged in 2 chapters. Customs valuation methods. Understanding Incoterms. Rules of origin. Tariff principles. Tariff and nomenclature arranged in 4 chapters. Customs litigations. Hope you enjoy. And let's begin.